One time, two Hasidim, two friends from the Russian town of Kharkov, came to Lubavitch to the Rebbe Rashab, Reb Shalom Dovber, for a private audience. The first Chassid went in, and after discussing his personal matters, the Rebbe Rashab asked him, "Tell me, Rebbe Yid, what's tutzach in Kharkov? What's doing in Kharkov, the town where you're from?" The Chassid said, "Rebbe, it's beautiful in Kharkov. Everyone's nice to each other, everyone davens, the mikvah's always warm and clean." And the Rebbe Rashab gave a big smile and said, "For your report on Kharkov, because you gave me that report, here's a gold coin." Then it came the turn of the second Chassid, and he went in, and again, after discussing his personal matters, the Rebbe Rashab said to him, "Tell me, what's tutzach in Kharkov? What's doing in Kharkov?" And the second Chassid says, "Rebbe, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's terrible in Kharkov. Everyone's mean to each other. Everyone talks during davening. Nobody takes davening seriously. The mikvah's always cold and dirty." And the Rebbe Rashab just nods and says, I hear. And the second Chassid goes out, and he meets his friend, and they compare notes, and the second Chassid finds out that his friend got a gold coin for his report. So he goes back into the Rebbe, to Rebbe Rashab, and he says, "Rebbe, I'm sorry, please forgive me, but I don't understand. Why does my friend get the gold coin for his report in Kharkov and I don't? I told you v'staka tutzach in Kharkov. I told you the truth. I told you what's really happening in Kharkov. How come he gets the gold coin?" And the Rebbe Rashab responded and says, "What do you think?" He said, "You think I don't know what's happening in Kharkov? I wanted to know which Kharkov you live in. What's the Kharkov you live in like? Because we understand that our perspective is our reality. Our perspective on the world, on life, on other people, our perspective on anything that ever happens to us is our reality." And as Chassidus explains even deeper, of course we understand that subjectively the way I am, my reality is based on my perspective. That for sure is true. We know it could be a beautiful sunshiny day and a person's in a bad mood or a person is upset. It doesn't matter where or what you are, you're going to be sad and you're going to have a bad reality. And the opposite, it could be a rainy Monday. It could be a rainy, ugly day and a person could be in the middle of nowhere. But if your story, your narrative, the way that you have a perspective on what you're going through is positive, then you'll be happy. You'll live in a reality of goodness, because the reality that we live in is based on our narrative, the way we tell the story in our mind. But Chassidus says this, it's even deeper. That not only is your perspective your subjective reality, but has an effect on the objective world. The way you tell the story, the way you look at the world, at life, at other people, the story and the narrative that you tell inside your head, even in your own thoughts, that has an effect on the world, on the objective world. Just like it says in Koheles, Ecclesiastes says, "Gamas ha'olam nosen belibam." He put the world in our heart. The whole world is in our heart, and our perspective doesn't just change our subjective reality. It has an effect on the world itself, like the Ishbitz says beautifully in this piece over here. We know that when Mashiach comes, this whole life, the whole world is going to be like a dream. Hayinu kecholmim. We'll wake up like from a dream. And we know that the sages teach us that when a person has a dream, that could be scary, it could be a negative dream, what happens is the dream actually foretelling what's going to happen or not. Hakol hoilach achar pitaron. It depends on how it's interpreted. The sages says that a dream, the way the dream, whether it's going to come true, how it's going to come to fruition in life, is based on how one interprets the dream. And the Ishbitz says the same thing is true of this whole world. The whole world is based on how we interpret it. It's like a dream that we need to interpret. We need to figure out our perspective on it. And as the Alter Rebbe explains in the 11th chapter of Igeras HaKodesh in Tanya, that when we have that emunah, the faith that everything is coming from Hashem, like the way the Ishbitz says, everything is the speech of God, everything that's happening is God emanating His light right now. And we have the true emunah, that true faith, that the perspective we have to have is that Hashem is good and that everything is there for good. When we're able to maintain that perspective, that actually changes reality and brings about goodness in a revealed way. May we merit to see it always, that we should interpret our life and the world in a way of goodness and sweetness, and thereby also merit to a good, sweet year, and see that sweetness with the coming of Mashiach.